Hello, everyone. I am Marie Ferdinand-Harris, and today we are reading Micah chapter 1 through 4. Grab your Bibles. The word of the Lord which came to Micah of Moreshesh in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and Ezekiah, kings of Judah, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. Hear, O peoples of all of you, listen, O earth, in all it contains, and let the Lord God be a witness against you, the Lord from his holy temple. For behold, the Lord is coming forth from his place. He will come down and tread on the high places in the earth. The mountains will melt under him, and the valley will split, like wax before the fire, like water poured down a steep place. All this is for the rebellion of Jacob, and for the sins of the house of Israel. What is the rebel of Jacob? Is it not Samaria? What is the high place of Judah? Is it not Jerusalem? For I will make Samaria a heap of ruins in the open country, planting places for vineyards. I will pour her stones down into the valley, and will lay bare her foundations. All of her idols will be smashed. All of her earnings will burn with fire. And all of her image I will make desolate. For let's read that line again. For she collected them from a harlot's earnings, and to the earnings of a harlot they will return. Because of this I must lament and wail. I must go barefoot and naked. I must make a lament like the jackals, and a mourning like the orchards. For her wound is incurable, for it has come to Judah. It has reached the gate of the people, even to Jerusalem. Tell it not Gad, weep not at all. At Beth-lap-apara, roll yourself into dust. Go on your way, inhabitants of Shapher, in shameful nakedness. The inhabitant of Zinan does not escape. The lamentation of Bez-Ezel, he will not form you for support. For the inhabitant of Marath becomes weak waiting for good, because calamity has come down from the Lord to the gate of Jerusalem. Harness the chariot to the team of horses. O inhabitant of Lachish, she was the beginning of sin, to the daughter of Zion. Because of you were found the rebellious acts of Israel. Therefore you will be parting gifts on behalf of Moreshesh Gad. The house of Ashib will become deception to the king of Israel. Moreover, I will bring on you the one who takes possession. O inhabitant of Marashah, the glory Israel will enter Adullam. Make yourself bald and cut off your hair. Because of the children of your delight, extend your baldness like the eagle, for they will go from you to exile. Let's continue. Woe to those who scheme iniquity, who work out evil on their beds. When morning comes, they do it, for it is in power of the hands. They cover fields and then seize them, in house and take them away. The rob of a man is in his house, a man in his inheritance. Therefore, thus say the Lord, behold, I am planning against this family a calamity from which you cannot remove your net, and you will not walk haughtily, for it will be evil times. On that day they will take up against you a taunt, and utter a bitter lamentation. We are completely destroyed. He exchanges the portion of my people. How he remove it from me? To the apostate he apportioned our fields. Therefore you will have no one stretching measuring land. For you by lot in the assembly of the Lord. Do not speak out so they speak out, but if they do not speak out concerning things, reproach will not be turned back. It is being said, O house of Jacob, is the Spirit of the Lord impatient. Are these his doings? Do not my word do good to one who is walking uprightly? Recently my people have arisen as enemy. You strike the robe off the garment. Let's read that one again. You strip the robe of the garment from the unsuspecting passer from those who returned from war. The woman of my people you evict, each one from her pleasant house. From her children you take my splendor forever. Arise and go, but this is no place of the rest, because of the uncleanness that brings of destruction, a painful destruction. If a man walking after wind in falsehood has told lies and said, I will speak out to you concerning wine and liquor, he would be spokesman to this people. I will surely assemble all of you, Jacob. I will surely gather the remnant of Israel. I will put them together like sheep in the fold, like a flock in the midst of its pasture. They will be noisy with men. The breaker goes up before them. The breakout pass through the gate and go out by it. So their king goes on before them, and the Lord at their head. Let's continue. Chapter 3. Hear now, head of Jacob and rulers of the house of Israel, is it not for you to know justice? You who hate good and love evil, who tear off their skin from them and their flesh from their bones, who eat the flesh of my bone, strip off their skin from them, break their bones up and chop them up, for as the pot and has meat in this kettle. Then they will cry out to the Lord, but he will not answer them. Instead, he will hide his face from them at time, because they have practiced evil deeds. Thus say the Lord concerning the prophets who led my people astray. When they have something to bite with their teeth, they cry peace. But against him who puts nothing in their mouth, they declare holy war. Therefore, it will, let's read verse 6 again. Therefore, it will be night for you without vision, and darkness for you without divination. The sun will go down on the prophets, and the day will become dark over them. The seers will be ashamed, and the diviners will be embarrassed. Indeed, they will all cover their mouth, because there is no answer from God. On the other hand, I am filled with power, with the Spirit of the Lord, and the justice and courage to make known Jacob and his rebellious act, even to Israel his sin. Now hear this, head of house of Jacob, and rulers of house of Israel, who abhor justice, and twist everything that is straight. Who builds Zion the bloodshed, and Jerusalem with violence and injustice? Her leader pronounced judgment for a bribe. Her priests instruct for a price, and her prophets divine for money. Yet lean on, Lord, it is not the Lord in our midst. Calamity will not come upon us. Therefore, on account of you, Zion will be plowed as a field. Jerusalem will become a heap of ruins, and the mountain of the temple will become high places of the forest. Let's finish up with chapter 4. And it will come about in the last days that the mountain of the house of the Lord will be established as chief of the mountains. It will be praised. It will be raised above the hills, and the people will stream to it. Many nations will come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, into the house of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us about his ways, and that we may walk in his path. For from Zion will go forth the law, even the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. and he will judge between many people and render decisions for mighty distant nations. Then they will hammer their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not lift swords against nation, and never again will they train for war. Each of them will sit under his vine and under his fig tree, with no one to make them afraid. For the mouth of the Lord host has spoken. Through all the people, let's read verse 5 one more time. Though all the people walk, each in time of his God, as for us, we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever. In that day, declares the Lord, I will assemble the lame and gather the outcasts, even those who I have afflicted. I will make the lame a raiment, and outcast a strong nation, and the Lord will reign over them to Mount Zion, from now on and forever. As for you, tower of the flock, hill of the daughter of Zion, to you it will come, even the former dominion will come, the kingdom of daughter of Jerusalem. Now, why do you cry out loudly? Is there no king among you? Or has counselors perished? The agony has gripped you like a woman in childbirth, writhed in labor to give birth. Daughter of Zion, like a woman childbirth, like a woman in childbirth, for now you will go out of the city, dwell in the field, and go to Babylon. There you will be rescued. There the Lord will redeem you from the hand of your enemies. And now many nations have been assembled against you, who say, let her be polluted, and let her eyes gloat over Zion. But they do not know the thoughts of the Lord, and they do not understand his purpose. For he has gathered them like sheaves to the threshing floor. Arise and thresh, daughter of Zion, for the horn I will make iron, and your harps I will make bronze, that you pulverize many people, that you may devote to the Lord their unjust gain, and their wealth to the Lord, all unto the earth. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith. This is our global Bible revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Bible cover to cover in a year. I'm your host, Summer Day, and with me in the studio today is Marie Ferdinand-Harris. I got that right?
You got it.
Woo-hoo!
Perfect.
Yay! Okay, well, you just finished reading your sections of the Bible. Before we get into that, will you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from?
Absolutely. I am Marie Ferdinand-Harris, born and raised in Miami, Florida. I went to LSU, became a Hall of Famer, a Kodak All-American.
That's right. We just happen to have a Hall of Famer sitting in the chair with us today. Tell us more about that.
Well, I've always loved basketball growing up, and I learned early on that, wow, I can use sport as a vehicle to capitalize off a academic or athletic scholarship to college. And it happened. I was able to go to LSU and break all kind of records. And
tell me about the records you broke.
Becoming one of the all-time steals leader at LSU, which is hard to do, but with work ethic and effort, it's possible.
Hey, man, that's awesome. I've never heard of that. You had the most steals. Come on.
Yes.
You're sneaky.
Oh, very sneaky. I was also a gold medal winner with my college team, where we competed in Taiwan and won the gold. Yes, and became, like I said, a Hall of Famer, a SEC great.
Okay, when you say gold, is that Olympic gold?
Olympic gold medal.
Wait, stop it.
Yes.
You're an Olympic gold.
Oh, yes.
I did not know this. You might be the first Olympic gold medalist I've ever met.
Hey.
Just a few things. I'm just a Hall of Famer. I'm just a gold medalist. Yeah. Wow, what else?
And I was blessed. God was so good to me. I was able to play 12 years in the WNBA, becoming a 3-time WNBA All-Star. So, yeah, God's given me great gifts and ability, and I just made the most of it.
Oh, did you get to do a lot of traveling and stuff during those 12
Oh,
years?
yes, because not only did I play in practically every state, but during our off season, the WNBA off season, most of the girls go overseas and play. So we play internationally. So I've been in every market, pretty much Poland, Russia, France, Spain, anywhere in Europe, name it, I've been there. Passport is just loaded with stamps. But yeah, I've been blessed to be able to travel the world.
Just a slightly exciting life.
Yeah.
What's one or two of the favorite countries you went to?
Turkey. Turkey was by far my best experience. I enjoyed Turkey.
Okay, I've not heard this before. Why Turkey?
Just because we had a lot of Americans in that market, so it felt like you were back at home. You were back in the U.S. And then the food, the culture, it's just pretty different in Turkey. Very chill. People are super friendly. Great sports environment.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really good choice of going to Turkey and playing there for a whole year.
So amazing. One of our readers that we've had was a Harlem Globetrotter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's really neat.
I had no idea you had done just that much. I knew you had played basketball, WNBA, that's said correctly.
Yes.
I didn't know all the other things.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, gold medal. You say, how many times?
Three-time WNBA All-Star.
Stop it right now.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
And when did you stop doing that?
I stopped playing in 2013 season. Yes, 2013. I retired and was on to the next journey.
And what's been the next journey for you?
Well, it was very interesting because when I retired, I felt like I had developed as a player, but I was neglected as a person. Growing up in my hometown, it was not the best place to raise a family. Where we lived was a town called Little Haiti, and that town is where, I don't know if you're familiar with First 48, but it's where the most crime, drugs, teen pregnancy is up.
What city is this?
And this is in Miami, Dade County. But my parents are from Haiti. My parents came to USA with no form of education. So the goal for my mom and my dad was to make sure we had good education. Yeah. So although we were in a really tough environment and it was darkness all around, I always focused on where lies a light. Amen. And through sports, the doors open and it changed
us. You're not just a Hall of Famer. You're one of those stories of raised in this environment, but you saw a way out and you worked real hard to get out.
Yes, I focused on the light. I focused on an opportunity, and I heard that announcement at the age of 13. Anyone interested in girls basketball, come try out. And I gave it a try. I was open-minded, and it changed the trajectory of my whole life.
Okay, there's always that stereotype with basketball. How tall are you?
Oh, I'm actually not one of the tallest one. I'm only 5'9", but I played. One of my teammates was 7'2".
7'2"?
And just to let you know that height is just a number, I also had a teammate that was 5 feet. So it's all about the heart. The work ethic.
Work ethic for
sure.
Work ethic for sure. Let's talk a little bit about work ethic, because I feel like that's something that we glamorize gold medalists. We glamorize, movie stars or singers or whoever it is. And I think a lot of times we don't realize the level of hard work.
Yeah.
Give us just what was hard work for you? When you say you worked hard, what did it look like?
Hard work was learning to do the things that I didn't want to do when I didn't want to do it, but making myself do it. And that always came with the prize. So I would say that's my best definition of what hard work is, what ties in with discipline.
Yeah.
Doing what you don't want to do, but to be able to get the things you want to get.
So good. I feel like you needed to be in my living room yesterday with my 15-year-old. She's complaining about something with school being hard. And I'm like, you don't understand what happens when you do the hard things.
Yes.
So good.
I was told once that we got to teach our kids to learn. Hard is not going away. We have to teach our kids to learn to do hard better.
Oh,
just learn to do hard better.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I love it. So you said you grew as a player, but you didn't grow as a person. Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, growing up, my family, my parents, my dad wasn't in the home. My mom and dad split, and my mom was raising 8 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. And my mom was always working 3 jobs, never at home. And I can remember every summer we're locked in a house. We didn't have the resources to participate in Boys and Girls Club, YMCA. We just stayed home. So I just felt like those important foundational skills was never laid.
Yeah.
So I never had the ability to maximize my platform because I was always quiet. One thing about me, I was going to come in, I was going to be a professional and do my job, but I never knew the importance of relationships, networking, being all about confidence. I didn't understand effective communication. I was a mute. I didn't understand this throughout my career. I got to the highest level and I didn't have confidence outside of the court.
So off the court, you were quiet, you were reserved, you didn't have confidence, just only
on the court is where I found my voice while I was on the court. So I battled with finding identity. Who was I outside of sports?
Yeah.
And it never became a hardcore reality, not until I retired.
Is this common?
Very
Does this happen
common.
a lot in that arena?
It's very common for athletes, because when you play sports, it's your life. It's all you do every day, all day. So you don't really understand time management and how important developing as a person is. It's more important than just developing the player, because the person is who you are, who you're going to be forever. The athlete is going to retire. So some of these skill sets I never mastered, so I felt like when I retired from the WNBA.
Okay, I'm going to pause you right there. We're going to hear more about that.
Yes.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this. Oh my goodness.
Losing a family in the line of duty is a heart-wrenching, painful experience that no one could ever be prepared for. The emotional loss can be traumatic, and the financial setbacks can be life-altering. Blue Family Fund is a nonprofit organization that exists to assist the families of fallen officers and first responders. Our focus is to raise funds for higher education, scholarships for dependents of law enforcement officers and first responders. We are here for you.
My friend, we've got Marie here, 3-time gold medalist, Hall of Famer. Oh my goodness, the things that you...
3-time WNBA All-Star.
3-time WNBA All-Star.
Yes.
Okay, and how many gold medals?
Just one.
One gold medal. Okay, Hall of Famer. Holy moly. And then you retired in 2013, and we were talking about how you only had confidence on the court. I never think about that. You think of how good those professional athletes are. And I think we envision they must be like that in all of their lives because we think of what it takes to be that professional, that alive, that confident on the court. We just assume, well, that's how they are. And I think, my husband used to work for a lot of celebrities, performers. I could name, famous musicians and stuff. And I was always shocked to find out many of them were introverts, and many of them could perform in front of 50,000 people, and then off stage, very different person. So you're helping me to realize, they're a different person off the court. And I asked you if that was common right before break. I asked if that was common. You said it was.
Yeah, it's very common in our market. Athletes are dedicated to their jobs, and that's 24/7. When we're not playing, we're in the gym mastering that jump shot.
Wow.
When we're mastering the jump shot, then we get out of doing that. We're home watching Sports Center. It's just a 24-hour cycle where we're just nonstop. It's not until you're done with sport you realize that, oh my gosh, I neglected the person. I never developed me. I was just developing the athlete, but the person was forgotten.
So it sounds like God has given you a heart for that now, almost like a reaching back, and that's where you're kind of wanting to go and maybe solve that issue and figure out how you can help develop not just the player, but the person.
Yes.
We're going to know more about that. Tell me about that vision.
Well, that vision is more on having programs, even a facility. And that's my biggest goal, is a facility where we run programs where at elementary school, when these kids start playing sports, when they're learning to dribble, they're learning to get on a stage and speak.
Wow.
When they're learning to shoot, they're learning confidence. When they're learning how to pass a ball, they're learning relationship building.
Amen.
We're giving the player, we're developing the player, and we're also developing the person alongside.
So good. I say all the time, one of my catchphrases is, one semester of home ec does not a good mom or wife make. And so I spend a lot of time coaching women and helping them to be confident moms or confident wives, because we don't learn that. The only way to learn it is in the home.
Yes.
And you had a single mom of 8 kids. Clearly, she was not also able to work on personal development or anything with you. I love that you want to start right back in school.
Yes.
Why do we not teach relationship skills or communication skills or work on building confidence in school?
And as athletes, we tend to think that, like we just think competition. We don't think you can be competitive and be about relationship building.
Yeah.
You just think, no, that's my opponent. I'm not talking to her or I'm not talking to him. You don't understand that you can do both. And that's part of my message, is trying to train athletes that, hey, you can do both. You can be that fierce athlete, but at the same time, you can be all about your people skills, your relationship skills. You can understand that life's about relationship and tap into that other side. My other vision is to create this program where we take athletes and teach and get them into corporate. So from court to corporate, getting them to fine tune those skills. The overall goal is to get them to win in life, not just in sports.
Amen. Get them to win in life. So well, you clearly are great at communicating and confident at speaking. How did that happen? You retired in 2013, and then what happened to you?
So after I retired, I realized that, oh my gosh, I felt like I had a master's in as an athlete, but as a person, I was just entering elementary school. That's how big of a gap it was. So for the next 10 years, I had to literally reinvent the person, like take public speaking, learn how to be a better presenter, learn self-confidence, look myself in the mirror and said, I am confident, and just put myself in every different rooms where it was all about networking and learning to develop friendship, make friends, talk to people. I just had to stretch, and I was never forced to stretch. When you talk about sports, a lot of coaches, when you're playing professional sports especially, they're not interested in the person. They only care about the player. So if you don't have that growth mindset to, after practice, let me go and step on the other side and meet a Mark Cuban, who is the owner, and pick his brain and start to build opportunities for life after sport, then you're done, because you're going to retire and realize that, oh my gosh, I have to spend 5-6 years reinventing myself so I can have a chance at another career.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because most athletes, they retire physically long before they're actually, retirement age, or what we think is retirement age.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you started taking all these classes. And
So I start taking all these different classes. I'm currently doing some Harvard business classes. So it's still learning business, learning different skills, honing my skills, understanding what is business acumen. How do you perfect that? Personal development, just surrounding myself with people who are doing what I want to do and trying to learn from them, which is something I was very disinterested in as a player. As a player, I could care less about that stuff. But now I see how, quick little story, and I'm going to bring it up because it's Nick Saban. And Nick Saban is hot right now because, he just retired. So I remember at LSU, him and Jimbo Fisher, Kirby Smart, 3 other legendary football coach, they would come to the gym because Nick Saban was at LSU while I was a basketball player there. And he would always come and have their little power hour, exercise hour. But I always come to the gym early because I wanted to get extra shots up. There was one afternoon I come to the gym early and realize Nick Saban and his staff is on the court. And I have my ball in my hand. I'm in the stance and I'm like, can they get off the gym already? I'm trying to get my shots up. But that was an opportunity to go and meet Nick Saban, go introduce myself, go play with them, develop relationships.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.